Alright guys, this is gonna be we're gonna shell this corn this fall for hog feed and for the calves. This is my dad's corn. I don't have that much ground that I lease, and it's a lot easier for me just to buy my corn from him, and I just whatever I grind, I can weigh it on the mixer, and we keep track of it that way. Yeah, this is a property that my dad leases, this farm. This corn is mostly knee-high. This is all no-till. It was in late beans, it was in wheat all last winter, and combine the wheat, put it in late beans, and no-till corn. Up here on this ridge is pretty good. It's got a few wet spots in it. This corn here, if you stretch it out, it's almost up to my waist. This is this is not bearded wheat. It's pretty good size. It's up to my waist. It's got some pretty good heads on it. It ought to turn out pretty good. I planted 2.5 bushels an acre on this. Conventional. We disc it. And Dad's after the seed. And he lets me have half the straw if I go in there and bale it. So whatever I bale up, he gets half of it, and I get the other half for baling. So that's a good deal. This is where the tracks where the sprayer went through. This has all been sprayed fungicide. This is supposed to be food grade. It's supposed to be. It's a pretty decent field of corn. These are on 36-inch rows. That's all we can do with our 7,000. We moved them in 2 inches. But there's some waterways where the water runs off back in there. And you can probably see one little strip right there. But that's where I was able to get those 360 bales off of, because of all the fertilizer that we put on the field. Fertilized the waterway, and it was thick, very thick, and it worked out pretty good. You lease land, I guess you got to use every bit of it that you can. I'd like to lease this little bit too. This is where I got my Holstein calves, and there's some woods with it, and there's a little pond down there, and it's a spring-fed pond, so it stays pretty fresh. But all this grass and everything, I'd like to kind of fence it all off over that way, and then up this way, let them have some of the woods, and all the way back over to here, and fence it all off. I'd have to use electric fence because you don't really want to put a permanent fence on something you lease. But I could kind of run more head of Holstein. I'm kind of limited on what I can do. I could run my beef cattle. I have a few cows of my own. that I've kept instead of selling the calves in the fall. I've kept them, and I'm running them over on this other farm. If you can see the silo over there, that's where I'm running them right now. Maybe one day when I can get my own piece of ground, I'll have some cows to put on it. But there's that little pond. It was cleaned out, unlike the other one. I think it's pretty clean. Doesn't have